2 weeks and 3 days away from the start of the regular season. 1 week removed from the NFL announcing an outcome in the Antonio Brown helmet dispute, and it feels like we're still no closer to knowing what is going on with Antonio Brown. Deja vu all over again for the Raiders and AB.
Yes, I mean, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it really is. It's unbelievable that we're still here talking about it. I was shocked to find out about the loophole as far as the helmet rule that he had skirted around, as far as the 10-year with this shut air helmet. But either way, the NFL closed that loophole. They've had enough. And really, I kind of was expecting this. I mean, I didn't think they were just going to let somebody go out there in a helmet that they didn't approve and didn't pass, the proper testing and just think, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's where this starts to get off the rails.
Right.
Because they never banned the helmet. They never banned the shut air advantage until Antonio Brown realized that there's a loophole here.
Sure.
Hey, you tell me I can't wear a helmet that's more than 10 years old? I'll go find the same model that's less than 10 years old. And the problem is, as of last Monday night, he was under the impression, based on communications with the Raiders, who supposedly had communicated with the league, that this is an acceptable alternative because of the 11 helmet models that were banned by the NFL in 2018, and guys like Tom Brady had a 1-year grace period to figure out which helmet they're going to transition to, the shut air advantage wasn't one of them.
Okay, so
I look at it this way.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so to you, I mean, it just looks like, just from the outside looking in, does it not just look like the NFL kind of overlooked this? They figured they didn't have to ban a helmet that was made, or got stopped being produced in 2011? Is it simply just that the NFL kind of just overlooked this because they didn't think they had to put it on there because it's been so long since it's been in production?
I think the one angle to all of this that the NFL is not going to highlight is that they kind of blew it by not testing the shut air advantage, apparently because not a lot of players were wearing the shut air advantage.
Yeah.
But still, one of the highest profile players in the league, the guy who was on the cover of the Madden game last year, was wearing the shut air advantage while on the cover of the Madden game last year. So somebody blew it here, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who should have recognized this is a helmet that should have been tested when they had their 11 banned models. This should have been banned model number 12. They blew it.
Yes.
And they expedited it last week once Antonio Brown realized, I got a loophole here.
Yeah.
Because if I can find one of these things that's less than 10 years old, I can wear it. And again, this, at best, it's very bad communication because as of Monday night, Brown believed, based on communications with the Raiders, who apparently were in communication with the league, that this was acceptable. And at some point, once it looked like Antonio Brown had found a solution and had found multiple helmets that were the shut air advantage model that were less than 10 years old, he's going to win until he's not. And that's when they expedited the testing. And Chris, here's the thing that I have a problem with.
Okay.
And this is to me what could provide the basis for a much stronger grievance than the last one that Antonio Brown filed, because that first grievance was embarrassingly weak and never should have been pursued. This time around, what he should say is, look, all these other guys got a year. Once you identified their helmet as being banned, you allowed them for a year to wear in games and practices a helmet that you decided was insufficient for NFL players to wear. Why don't I get my year? They all got their year.
Right.
You're not giving me my year. And that's why I think that if he wanted to do it, and I think he may, he's got a much stronger grievance this time around than he did last time.
Well, it is interesting. It's a good point you bring up. The only thing I'd say there is he the only player that was wearing that shut air advantage out of the 32 players that we knew that had to change their helmet this year? No. Okay.
No. The shut air advantage wasn't banned, Chris. That's what people are losing sight of.
I know, but
it was
just
not
saying,
one of the 11 models.
He's one of the 32 guys that's only one wearing it. Maybe that's how it gets overlooked as far as not being tested again. I don't know. I'm just throwing out there.
No. But the guys who were wearing the helmets last year that
Right.
had been banned, that their helmets had been banned. They knew, I got 1 year to come up with something else. Last year, Tom Brady was in and out of that new helmet all the time. He'd try it out for a game. He'd go back to the old one. The old one that has been banned by the league. He still kept wearing it because he was taking full advantage of that 1 year grace period.
Yes, right.
Antonio Brown's not getting a full football season to get used to a new helmet. Tom Brady did. Aaron Rodgers did. Others did. And that would be the basis for a potentially persuasive grievance. Before we run out of time in this segment,
go ahead.
there's some comments from people other than us that we need to share with you. Because the Raiders have kind of drawn the line in the sand with Antonio Brown. They don't believe there's anything else that needs to be done at this point other than picking a new helmet and showing up for work. Here's what General Manager Mike Mayock had to say Sunday on behalf of the organization, and it sends a very loud and clear message to Antonio Brown.
AB is not here today, right? So here's the bottom line. He's upset about the helmet issue. We have supported that. We appreciate that, okay? But at this point, we've pretty much exhausted all avenues of relief. So from our perspective, it's time for him to be all in or all out, okay? So we're hoping he's back soon. We got 89 guys busting their tails. We are really excited about where this franchise is going, and we hope AB is going to be a big part of it starting week 1 against Denver. End of story. No question.
A little good cop, bad cop there in Oakland because John Gruden's never making that statement.
No.
Is he, Chris?
No, he's not. But I think that he gives the green light for that statement to be made. And I think that's very telling that that's where we're at. It's finally done of like, oh, hey, gosh, we love you. You're our new toy. It's okay. We've had enough. It's business. And I'm sure John Gruden, when things kind of went awry yesterday and they realized that he was not in the building, he had enough too. And finally gave Mike Mayock the green light to go ahead and say a public statement like that.
And the way that Mayock characterized it, at this point, there's nothing more that can be done. We've exhausted all avenues. There are no further options. It's grab an approved helmet and show up for work or get out. That's basically the message. And if he gets out, he gives up $30 million. I can't imagine him not doing it if it ever comes to that. But according to Drew Rosenhaus, who represents Antonio Brown, and this is from last night on WSVN in Miami, Drew Rosenhaus doesn't seem to believe that all options have been exhausted. Here's what Rosenhaus had to say.
We've worked very closely with the Raiders, and we will continue to work very closely with the Raiders. I'm not sure that we agree that we've exhausted all the options, as Mike Mayock said, but there's no doubt it's still an ongoing process. We are trying to work with the team and the league and the union to come up with a solution. We haven't figured it out yet. To say that AB is upset about the decision to not let him wear his helmet is accurate, but we're still processing it and figuring it out. I wouldn't make too much about him not being there today as much as we're still trying to come up with a solution that works.
Okay, that was Drew Rosenhaus again, and he disagrees with Mike Mayock. He thinks there's something more that can be done.
All right. Well, so the bottom line is when you're a $30 million guaranteed, you can't not show up for work just because the NFL told you not to wear a helmet. That's the first thing, right? I mean, enough is enough. Like, I mean, holy cow! Nobody in football could get away with this, would do this. Nothing. It's reckless. It's bad leadership. It's everything. He's becoming a problem in Oakland already, and that's why Mike Mayock had to make that comment. Second of all, I mean, okay, maybe what's the other avenue they could exhaust? Maybe he gets a 1-year exemption, like you're saying. But as big as player safety is right now in the NFL, and the fact that all the attention is on this right now, I just have a hard time thinking that the NFL is going to bow down to Antonio Brown and go, well, hey, this helmet that didn't pass any of our tests, we're just going to let you wear it. I don't see it going that way. They're going to draw a hard line in the sand here. It's going to be concrete line, actually, and I just can't imagine it happening.
Chris, but here's the thing. Last year, there were 11 helmet models that were deemed to be unfit by the NFL, and they allowed players like Tom Brady to continue to wear them. So that logic can easily be twisted back around on the NFL.
Yeah.
You've already done it. Don't tell me that this is an age of maximum sensitivity to safety when you let guys last year continue to wear helmets that you deemed to be unsafe for use. You let them wear them. So how does Antonio Brown not get the same courtesy when you decide to rush to testing a helmet model that you failed to test when you came up with your list?
And this offseason that he had to wear a new helmet.
Chris,
and he found a loophole. And they're not going to let it happen.
Right. He knew that he had to get a replacement for his helmet that was more than 10 years old. Whatever helmet model it is, after 10 years, NOCSAE, NOCSAE,
he didn't know the 10 years old thing until last week. He had no idea. So his brain should be wrapped around, I need another helmet.
No. Right. But, Chris, you're losing sight of it. This is why so many people are confused. You're confused by it. All due respect.
I'm not.
It's not about a helmet. It's not about a helmet being more than 10 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Any helmet that is more than 10 years old can't be worn. It's about the model itself. The NFL never said, hey, look, here's the shut air advantage. Let's put this through our testing, and let's decide whether or not this is a helmet that players can wear. They did it last week only after Antonio Brown identified a loophole that would have allowed him to win. See, I feel like at a certain level, this comes down to the NFL not wanting to let Antonio Brown win. They don't want the perception, the appearance that he fought the law and the law lost. I feel like that's a big part of this. Why else would they not give him a 1-year grace period when a year ago Tom Brady wore throughout the season a helmet that the NFL had determined to be unsafe? Why did they give those guys a grace period, and why are they not giving it to Antonio Brown? And I'll tell you what, if I'm Antonio Brown, if I'm someone advising him, I'm saying, here's your grievance. Last week's grievance was an embarrassment. This week's grievance is viable.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I understand exactly what's going on. I also understand that the NFL is king here, okay? And they're not going to let anybody just do it. They messed up, obviously. They messed up by not putting this on their banned helmet list. Either way, Antonio Brown went into just before last week knowing that he was going to have to change his helmet, and he didn't like it. So he can't be that shocked by this recent development. So, yes, I understand it's not quite exactly as fair as Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers got it and everything else, but he was very aware that the last year was going to be his last year of wearing that helmet into this spring.
That specific
into
helmet.
The training camp.
That specific,
right. Okay. So he shouldn't be that shocked. He went through warm-ups wearing the other helmet. He's making $30 million guaranteed. I'd like to think he's talented enough and mature enough at this point to catch passes in his new helmet and move on with life for a team that's paying him all this money and brought him in there for a second, breath of fresh air in his career and are investing in him and want him to be the leader of the team. And that's all I'm saying. I understand your points. Your points are real too. I'm not trying to deny that.
I know you're turning 39 soon, but you're still a little too young to go with the get off my lawn routine. I mean, here's the bottom line. If he had quietly found a new shut air advantage that was less than 10 years old and gotten that thing recertified, which it was.
Yeah.
The helmet has been recertified by NOCSAE. It wouldn't have been an issue. We wouldn't know about any of this until the specific helmet he wants to wear is more than 10 years old. That's what's if he had gotten a helmet in 2010, a shut air advantage then, made the year that he joined the NFL, this wouldn't be an issue until next year because it would still be less than 10 years old because the NFL didn't include initially the shut air advantage on that list of banned helmets.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.